Welcome, everyone. Can you hear me? Good, good. Thank you. Great. Welcome to the annual first year, second year kind of introduction to health professions at Earlham College. This is the first time we've done this by Zoom. Otherwise, we would be doing this in person, so we have a chance to get to know you better. That's actually one of the goals for this session, is for members and contributors to the Center for Global Health at Earlham to introduce ourselves and also to share the programming that we can do. Our chief aim is to help prepare all students, current students and alumni, to prepare and be ready and to excel at careers in health. And so the first thing we need to do, first thing I'm going to do is remind you from the link in the chat. We'd love to get your information. By putting your email and name in that Google Doc, we will capture you. That allows us to provide communications to you about all the programming, wonderful programming that we're going to talk about today. And it also lets us provide information to you about how to contact us, which we'll do in today's session as well. So I think we'll go ahead and go to the next slide where we have introductions of the people involved with the Center of Global Health and advising for the health professions. So I'll just go ahead and get started. I'm Peter Blair. I teach in the biology department. The now second year students, most of you probably had me in cells, genes, and inheritance, which is a first year genetics and molecular biology course as a faculty member. And those who are first years will have me in CGI, that same course, in the spring semester. So I look forward to having you in the classroom. So I'm in the biology department. My passion for research is in infectious diseases, so that can be very timely given that we're in a pandemic right now. And the other role I have is the director of the Center for Global Health, and that's why we're here today. So more on that in a little bit. And I'll let the associate director introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Jessie Paluski and I am the Associate Director of the Center for Global Health. What that means is that I am available if you need help when you want to talk about your careers or the steps you might take. And I also work really closely with all of our health related clubs, which you're going to hear about, as well as the health externship program. So please reach out to me if I haven't met you yet. I love meeting, especially the first years. I know this is a strange year for doing meetings, but always happy to set up a Zoom appointment.
And we have a third member who's been a foundational contributor to the Center for Global Health, and that's Michael Dybel. Mike's here with us tonight, and you can see by his name he has a special star, and so maybe Mike will talk about that in his introduction.
Sure. Hi, Mike Dybel. Previous to some of my current positions, I was co-director of the Center of Global Health with Peter when it was initially founded, and we worked together to build a lot of things. And I'm now interim dean of the faculty this semester, as well as associate vice president of academic affairs, and also teaching chemistry. So my favorite class is instrumental, so I love to get in the lab and build things. So perhaps I'll have some of you at some point in either that class or one of the other classes in chemistry. As Peter mentioned, I do have a little star there that they put there. Was that Jessie? Was that you? Okay, I thought that seemed like a Jessie touch. But I am, both Peter and I have been involved in a group called the National Association of Advisors for the Health Professions. As Peter talked about, one of the things we try to do, actually Jessie, you're a member also, right? All three of us are members, sorry. And the goal of us being part of that group is to make sure that we have all the best information that we can provide to you about what's happening in the health profession schools, what's happening in applications, what are they looking for, how can we best help you take advantage of all the things that Peter and Jessie are going to talk about that are in the center that help get you ready for those health careers. How can we help you best frame that? How can we help you best do that and be prepared for any changes that are happening? And there's a lot of changes that are happening right now in even just the application and other cycles. Interviews are going virtual, changes with the MCAT, all these sorts of things that are happening all the time. So being part of that group helps all of us be prepared to do the best we can to give you the kind of advice that you need to prepare. So thanks very much. I appreciate everybody being here for this.
Great. I'm just going to make sure everyone's still here. So could we give Mike a little round of applause for becoming president of this organization with using the reaction tool? Thank you for participating. That makes everyone feel like they're real humans. Great. And for continued introductions, in that middle line of that grouping is really additional members of the Health Careers Advisory Committee. And these are Lindsay McGee and Vince Punzo of biology and psychology departments, respectively. And when it comes to it, probably you'll interact with this group later on in your time at Earlham, particularly when it comes down to applying to those health profession schools, is this group can help you out in a number of ways, from helping craft what's called a committee letter of reference on your behalf, to also doing mock interviews and the such. So this is an important group of people to be aware of as well. Jesse and I reside in the CoLab, and so you should know where the CoLab is. It's kind of adjoins Stanley and Dennis Halls. You should come by and say hi and visit us there. The additional CoLab denizens that you should probably know are Eric Baker, who's our project manager. He works with several of the centers, and Jenny Williams, who would be right there usually at the front desk. So if you wear your mask and come in and see us, maybe we'll give you something free and a gift or something like that when you come in. But this is the team that belongs to the Center of Global Health. And I'm gonna let Jesse introduce you to some important peer mentors.
All right, so hopefully some of you guys recognize some of these students up here, and they might be in some of your classes. So every year we employ a number of students who have usually done research or an internship and have interacted really heavily with our center so that they kind of know the ropes and they can be there to assist their peers. So we have Kendra Parker, Tyreek Richardson, they're both seniors, Ahmed Deeb, and Angel Robert and Reagan Seaman are all returning sophomores. And you can see that they have a variety of majors and areas of interest. That does not mean those are the only areas that they can help you with. They've been trained up to pretty much help you with a lot of different areas. So the peer mentors are really there for you to be able to check in. If you have questions or you want to see like, hey, what's maybe a way that I can get involved? Or if you're looking at, you know, I've never done a resume, I have no idea how to do this, your cover letters, personal statements. And they're also really great at helping you to identify some of those research and internship opportunities, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. So you can actually book an appointment with them through Handshake. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that platform here in a minute, but just know that you can go on there, their times are available, and you can automatically book an appointment with them. For the most part, they are meeting students in the CoLab if you prefer face-to-face. If you prefer remotely, they can set up a Zoom session with you as well. So they're all really lovely. They've been with us quite some time for the seniors, and the newbies are really excited to start working with you guys. So please feel free to reach out. I've told them this week to expect to hear from some first years, so don't let me down. All right, so real quick, hopefully you guys have a little bit of familiarity at this point with Handshake. If you're on campus and you were looking for a job on campus, you probably have been in there because that's where all our on-campus jobs are housed. There's going to be a slide next which will tell you how to book an appointment, and we will make this presentation available to you guys afterwards so that you have access to all of this because there's a lot of information on here. But so on Handshake, what you can do is you can obviously search for jobs and internships both in and outside of Earlham. But the other way that we use this is to book our appointments with our peer mentors. So you're going to see all the people on the last slide. They're going to have appointments available, as well as my appointments are up there as well, so that you can go in at any time and book an appointment with us. If for some reason the times that are available with one of us doesn't work, you're always free to reach out to me via email. But most of the time, if you look at the next week, there's usually something. So unless it's too pressing, we have tons of appointments available. The other one that I want you to draw your attention to is UConnect. So this is a new service or resource that we have. And what it is that every student on Earlham's campus is essentially being assigned to what's called a career community. If you don't know what you want to do yet, that's okay. But for those of you who are, I'm pretty sure I'm going to do something in health and medicine, which is why a lot of you are with us right now. Your career community is already set up on there. So what it does is it's meant for students who are currently attending Earlham, and it pulls from a variety of different resources, Handshake included, to specialize a page that is really focused in on just health and medicine. So you don't have to sort through all the other events on campus. You don't have to sort through all the jobs on campus. So if you click on that link that's right here, it will take you to our health and medicine page, and I can pull that up real quick here. So you'll see here, Peter and I are right there. So if you ever forget how to contact us, we're there. You'll see upcoming events. Here we are right here. So your reminders for what's coming up. As you scroll down, you're going to see a bunch of different blogs and articles on here. You'll see I posted something earlier about some virtual shadowing opportunities, core competencies, which you're going to hear a lot about over the next 4 years. And then I just want to draw your attention to one more area. I know a lot of you filled this survey out already. Thank you so much. That's great. We need that information. If you have no idea what I'm talking about and you've never seen this page, please navigate there. We just ask that you fill out a really quick survey with us that tells us a little bit more about what field you're interested in or fields, and also what clubs you might be interested in. What that does is it allows us to get you on those lists again so that you get more information. So that is, I'm missing anything, career resources. So down here are resources that are specific to health and medicine. Pathways to Science is a great one that's up there. explorehealthcareers.org. This goes into a lot of the different professions that are out there and what it actually means to be in that field, and also what kind of education it's going to take. Whether you have to go on and get your master's or your PhD or go to med school or dental school. This kind of helps break it down. So that's a really nice resource if you're kind of new to this or you just started thinking about it. And those are great. They're there for those of you who kind of want to investigate by yourself or you like to read up, but also know that all of this information, that's the kind of thing that Peter and I are more than happy to kind of meet and discuss with you as well. So don't feel overwhelmed. It's there for those of you who are ready to take a dive in.
Just to add, that is brand new and freshly launched. And so you are ahead of the game from your junior and senior peers as being introduced to that UConnect site. That's an important one to know early and often. Yeah.
The next slide, so this is just a breakdown. So I mentioned if you wanted to meet with either me or one of the peer mentors, this is how you can actually go in and book an appointment. So if you follow these steps, step by step, it'll walk you through that. A lot of these links are going to be accessible in the heart. Okay, so when we're talking about how you get involved into some of the fields for health and medicine on campus. So you're obviously going to have your academic programming. There's going to be minors and IPs that we're going to talk about in a little bit that are very health related. But as far as getting involved with your peers and volunteering and providing service, these are going to be your kind of hubs to go to. So we have 3 different clubs on campus. I'm going to talk about each of them right after this. We have Health Club, HOSA, and MAPS. So those are our clubs. And then we have 2 additional programs. They're pretty big programs for not only our center, but for the college. We have the health externship program and we have the community medicine program. And I'm going to talk about this in just a second. Okay, so Health Club, I know a number of you said you were interested in Health Club already, which is wonderful. This is probably our best recommendation for first years who are just looking to get their feet wet and involved. Health Club covers a variety of different areas. It's meant to be exploratory, so it's not like laser focused to only those who want to be MDs or only those who, you know, want to go to get their PhD. You can come in here if you want to do physical therapy or if you're interested in pathology. So this is a great start. I would encourage all of you to kind of take a look at this. The types of things that Health Club usually do, we run the blood drives, we have workshops, we do some alumni interactions with people who've gone on to professional schools. We also help out with health fairs, and then we will be running, there's 2 big events in the fall. We have Health Professions Week, and then in the spring we have Public Health Week. So those are week-long events where there's going to be a slew of activities that we need lots of help with. So your leadership team right here, if you're interested in Health Club and you want to know when they're meeting and kind of be on that list, you're going to want to contact one of these three here. So you've got Talia, Abby, and Andrew, and they are really excited. They just took over leadership last semester, so they have lots of good ideas, and we're already meeting and kind of starting to calendar out some of our events and activities. So it's not too late to join. We only had one meeting last week, so hopefully you can join us at the next one. And you'll see that right here, Health Club meets every 2 weeks. So beginning of September is our next meeting. HOSA is another one of our clubs on campus. So this is a really great club if you like learning a material and being quizzed on it. It is a competitive team. So essentially what happens is we have all of these different categories that are kind of outlined here, and these are just a couple of them. There's a ton. And so what you do is you get together usually in small groups or individually, depending if you're the only one competing in that event. And what you'll do is you'll study, you'll learn the material, and then there's a state competition, and then there's a national competition that you go and compete. You would compete against other college students. There's also a high school section as well. So they're pretty large events. I've been to the national convention and it's like a huge thing. It's very overwhelming. They had pyrotechnics last time. It was a trip, but it's very cool. So again, this is really helpful because these are all things that you're going to need to know at some point. So it's really like medical terminology. If you're going to go into medicine, that's something that you really want to know. And so you might have some of this stuff in your classes, but it's also good as a refresher and to make sure that you know this stuff for tests later on. So this is HOSA. And so if you're interested in, if that sounds like fun to you, if you're a Jeopardy fan, this is your club. So your club leaderships are Sam Sandrowski, so she's a senior, and Reagan Seaman. And so again, you can shoot an email out to them or Peter or I and let us know what club you're interested in. If you already filled out the first year survey and indicated which clubs you want, you're on those lists, don't worry about it. If you want to know a little bit more about HOSA, like I said, this is a nationwide organization, so every state has their chapter. Here's the link here for Indiana's chapter. HOSA meets a little bit different than all of the other clubs. So for the fall, it's a little bit slower for HOSA because the events are in the spring. So in the fall, HOSA just meets once a month. So that's nice if you're kind of still getting your feet wet and you're like, I don't want to overcommit here. So this first meeting is actually going to be the 7th of September at 1 o'clock. So just make sure with all of these things that you're checking your emails. That's primarily how we're going to get information out. So if you don't read them, you'll miss out on stuff. And then our last club here that we have is MAPS. MAPS is a relatively new club. We've had it for about a year. This is another organization that's nationwide. So they are affiliated with SNMA, which is the Student National Medical Association, which is a huge organization. So MAPS is like kind of their sister chapter that's super focused in on diversity. So their goal is to create options for students who are of a diverse background to be able to network and connect and help them increase the rate of students in these groups going on to medical school. Kendra wanted me to be very clear, Kendra's our president, that so this organization is open to anyone. You do not have to be a minority. You could simply be someone who, like, I really care about making sure everyone's on an equal playing field and I want to be an advocate. You're welcome to join. Also, if you're a minority and you're going into something like physical therapy or dentistry or something and it's not med school, you are still welcome. We encourage you to come to that. The events will be a lot broader to encompass all of you guys. So this is a really, really cool group. We have a really dedicated leadership team and they're already planning some awesome events coming up for you. So you'll see there Kendra Parker and Tyreek Richardson are two of your leadership members. And again, reach out to them if you're interested. Their next meeting is Sunday, September 6th. Peter, would you like to take on this one?
Yes, let you get a breath in.
A breather, that was fast.
We know that we're providing lots of information, but you're going to be able to hear this in multiple ways. And so if you take a little bit from this and share it with your friends, that's what we hope for. But at least you know who Jesse and I are, and you know where to find us. And that's one of the chief goals. One of our most mature and probably fundamental programs is our health externship program. And that really can be conveyed as being our shadowing and volunteering in the health professions. So now we have partnered with about 13 or 14 community sites that all have different health profession, have many health professions covered. This includes veterinary medicine, chiropractic, of course, medical doctors, osteopathic doctors. We can do physical therapy, and there's a whole list of things we've been able to do. So students, over the past few years, we've been able to place about 55 or 60 students per semester that go out external to Earlham and participate in this volunteering and shadowing. You don't even need a car. We pay for taxis to get you there and back, and it's quite a matrix of planning for us to do. But thousands of hours of community service, and so it benefits both you and the partners that you're working with. And so we think that's wonderful. Of course, right now, both of these programs that I'm going to introduce on this slide are suspended because of the COVID pandemic. And so we hope that these will come back when it's safe to do so, and we will certainly communicate them to you. But that's why Jesse and I want to make sure you hear about our normal programming so you can be aware of it and be ready to apply when it's time. The second program on this is a newer program that I'm really excited about. It went for the first year, partially last year, with the first cohort of students, and that's our community medicine program. And this we partner with Reed Hospital, which is the major regional hospital in the Wayne County area, and it serves multiple counties. But they have a paramedicine program that's based on sending their team of paramedics to people's homes. And the homes that they visit are patients that have chronic illnesses and disabilities. And so the Earlham student who's part of this program visits the home along with a paramedic and a teammate, as Earlham teammate, and they visit with the patients in their homes. And you basically serve as a health coach, and you get trained to do so. And so the training begins in a fall semester seminar course, and then you pass that, and then you dedicate the following 3 semesters to that client visit. And so this is a 3-way partnership, and it's a mutualism, because you get all that clinical experience. The patient gets someone who's energetic and smiles at them and engages with them and even plays games with them. And Reed Hospital, the goal from Reed is to reduce the number of emergency room visits, because the people that you're visiting are the high frequent users of the ER. Some of the people have visited the ER dozens of times within the last 6 months. And so you're helping reduce a burden on the ER in our local hospital. And so once this program gets active again, you'll hear more about it, and you should hopefully apply to both our health externship program and our community medicine program.
One more thing just about the health externship program. So although our traditional program is suspended for this semester, we do have some virtual opportunities that we created with some of our partners to allow our students to be able to serve still. So you guys, we are intending on doing these next semester, at which point you guys will be eligible to apply. So at the end of this semester, keep a heads up. These are community-based projects. So for example, one of our groups is working with a nonprofit out of Indianapolis who's really honing in on the death rate of mothers and children in the state of Indiana, particularly those who are of minority descent. So they're working on a project that's similar to a poverty simulation, if you know what that is, to help others and educate them about some of the challenges. We have a group of contact tracers that are working right now to be trained up. And we also have a group that's working with the Wayne County Health Department to help dispel some of the rumors and disbeliefs that are around there surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic. Those are just 3 of them. We will have probably some of those repeats, but we'll probably have some new ones for next semester too. So just keep a lookout for that, because that again is exactly how you guys will be able to start getting involved. And those projects span all the years. So you're going to be mixed in with students who are upperclassmen. It's a great way to kind of get to know them.
Great, and those are all virtual opportunities. So those will be going. I just want to really hit that, nail that in you. We have these opportunities to help serve you even the first year. Next, we have another kind of popular program in the past. We're waiting for the 4th iteration of this program to take place. So a lot of these are still kind of new and budding. This is our Global Health, Culture, and Service Learning May term. And so first year students, you'll learn that Earlham is well known for its experiential education, getting you out into places and experiencing and gaining valuable transformative opportunities from these experiences. This is one of those, and it's part of our EPIC Advantage program. And so if you apply to this and you're willing to use your EPIC funding, which every student is guaranteed, you can do this program for free. And so very, very, very transformative. We partner with an organization called FIMRIC, which is a mouthful. It's the Foundation of International Medical Relief of Children. They do more than just pediatrics and children work. It's expanded, but the places we've gone in the past are Peru, Costa Rica, back to Peru, and the fourth one, which got canceled last May, was Dominican Republic, but it's all kind of planned for, so if we get the green light to run it again, we'll probably go to the DR next. This gives you a chance to visit a country, gain cultural competence, which is one of those core competencies that Jesse and I will pause on today, but really harp on you later in your careers, that you'll want to make sure you get exposed to. This will allow you to practice either your fluent Spanish or your modest novice Spanish. We've only gone to Spanish-speaking countries thus far, but you get to actually enter programs. And so, for example, when I led the first Peru one, we were able to go to women's orphanages and do kind of skits, public health skits on hand washing, which would be certainly relevant still today. We did things on athlete's foot and fungal infections, and we taught the young women of the orphanages health-related topics. You also get to shadow and see perhaps surgeries. We can have students volunteer and see dental procedures in a more developing situation. So wonderful experiences for about those. We'll certainly let you know when those are live again. The next program is also in May, and this is a May term that would have a fee associated with it, but the Center of Global Health helps to supplement it, so it's not too bad for you all. It's our Intercultural Competence May term. Again, a focus to get you exposed to kind of the broadness of human, both dignity and from a kind of a humanist side. So again, you get a crash course in Spanish. You get to learn about diversity in religious and backgrounds and faiths. You get a crash course in kind of Latinx and Hispanic culture. You get to hear about kind of the dignity of the end of life. Vince Punzo is usually involved with some kind of cradle and grave connection. And so you get a mix of faculty teaching an on-campus component, and the faculty range from every division on this campus to help prepare you for the final week, which has been at Olivio, which is in downtown Indianapolis, and it's a bilingual medical center that treats a diverse clientele, Spanish-speaking in Indianapolis, who otherwise would have a hard time navigating kind of the U.S. healthcare system. So it's an avenue for them to get quality healthcare. And so we're partnered there with the head doctor, the CEO of this organization. And so you get full-on immersion that last week, living in Indianapolis and working a full day, full days in that week, in that third week of the program. Again, we hope that we have this open soon. We might have a modified version this coming May. We still have some of the program to work out if we have to do it remote or not. So this is our Intercultural Competence May term. All right. So we've done kind of the clubs. We've done some of the off-campus programs as part of the Center for Global Health, but there are also some academic opportunities that you should consider early as you pursue your normal major throughout the college. One of them, Earlham offers integrated pathways, and you can hear all sorts of definitions of what these are, but these are kind of minors on steroids. You take a set of courses, it could be 5 or 6 courses, and then you do some kind of experiential co-curricular experience to kind of supplement and really make it rich. And then you do a kind of culminating presentation to a team of faculty to kind of synthesize the curricular and the co-curricular. And so you have 8 semesters if you're a first year to do this. If you're a second year, you still have plenty of time to take these on. The IPs go on your transcript if you complete them. And so it's a great badge you would earn that goes in your transcript. And so if you're in any kind of medical path, pre-medicine, pre-dent, pre-vet, you'll be working with people. And I did say pre-vet because you'll have to deal with those parents and dog owners, which are some of the most important people you have to work with. They love their pets. like Earl's guardian up there. But if you take 5 classes in certain categories and do an experience, you can get our medical humanities IP and earn that. And so we have a website devoted to that you can look at and see what the courses are. And so what might surprise you is there's not science courses in the natural science division. This is in the humanities and the social science. We see when we interview our seniors every year that the ones who have gone through this IP have a better sense of human dignity, of the humanist approach, and just being a quality public servant, caring for people that may be unlike you in whatever variable that is. And so we encourage you to get started with the medical humanities IP. I think there's a form online, an interest form you just kind of fill out. It'll take you 5 minutes, and then one of the faculty members will get a hold of that, and they can be advisors to that. So please consider the medical humanities IP. We had another IP as part of our program, and that's in exercise science. But that may be on hold because we now have an exercise science major. And so for first years and second years, if you missed that last spring after Earlham closed, it was formally approved as a new major at Earlham, exercise science. So we can also help advise on that new major as well. Okay. I hope you're still with us. We're going to finish up pretty soon and have time for you to ask us questions, but stay with us just a little bit longer. These are important. Earlham has some agreements for places that you could go to after you graduate from Earlham. And I know this seems like a far off kind of situation for many of you, but the one on the left, our partnership with LECOM, which is the Lake Erie College of Osteopathic Medicine. If you don't know what osteopathic medicine is, it's worth some time looking it up. This partnership with LECOM, if I can summarize, if you maintain a certain GPA, if you apply early within your first or second year at Earlham into their early assurance program, you can get in the pipeline such that you can go to LECOM without having to take the MCAT examination. And the MCAT is that exam that is required most of the time for medical school, okay? And so if you did a fairly decent job on your SAT or ACT and have an index score of a certain value and you maintain a GPA at Earlham of 3.4, at least at Earlham, you can be guaranteed admission into LECOM. And so this is something that we're glad to talk to you about, but it's really important in the first and second year to apply and get involved with them. I think Jesse could be navigating back to the presentation.
Sorry, I was going to answer a question. Okay, we'll keep going. I will put the link for the survey in just a second. Were you done talking about, or do I need to
do one more? Can I go back to one slide?
Yeah, as soon as I figure out how to do it. Hold on. I can do this.
That's one of the partnerships, something really to consider. The second one is our affiliation with the Fairbanks School of Public Health, which is in Indianapolis, a part of IUPUI. And this one's really great too. And it could be something to do on your way towards medical school as kind of an enriching opportunity. If you do our minor, so Earlham has a minor in public health, and you maintain a very reasonable GPA, 3.2 or more, you have early assurance and guaranteed to be accepted into their master's program at the Fairbanks School of Public Health. So this is, again, unique kind of opportunities for this from the CGH that you have. So spread the word about these as well. All right, Jesse.
All right, my turn. Okay, so you're gonna hear a lot of different opportunities to be able to do research and internships. It is really common for Earlham grads to graduate with 2 or 3 career-defining experiences on their resume, meaning they're not waiting till they graduate to have these. They're getting them done while they're in school, which is helpful not only if you want to go straight into the job market, but it makes you a more competitive applicant for graduate school, med school, you name it. So you're really lucky because Earlham does this very well, and there's lots of opportunities for you to be able to take advantage of this. So you probably know about your Epic Advantage. Peter mentioned it a little bit. So you have the opportunity to go on one of those faculty-led courses. You can self-design your own, where we could find an internship or a research position that is like at your dream company. And you can also do a special project. So that's just one source of funding. The CGH also has some funds available to be able to support a couple of students every summer to go and do a research experience. On the slide here, you can see a couple of our examples of the past where we regularly are sending students. Some of these are going to be your bench research. Others are going to be more public health clinical type research. So it depends on what your goals are. But you can also see that one of the big gets there is we have biotech on there. So that is actually in Thailand. That's the only one of these that is a little bit different. It's funded through something called Freeman money. And unfortunately that one's open only to US citizens and permanent residents, but the rest of them are open to everybody. First years, it's usually a tricky spot to get in there, but you know, we've had first years get one of these in the past. So if you're interested, apply. If nothing else, it gets you in the process. And we also remember who took the extra effort to apply and put their name in the ring. In addition to these, myself, Peter, and all of the peer mentors, we're really going to push and help you find the resources to identify some outside funding internships and research positions. In all likelihood, summer 2021 could very well remain to be virtual and remote. That doesn't mean that you don't do anything. We had a number of students last semester who were all geared up to do programs in person. Some of them were canceled because of COVID, but a lot of them shifted to an online format. So we had a number of students still do remote internships and research. It looked a little bit different than usual, but it was really cool. Tyreek Richardson did research at the Mayo Clinic. Kendra Parker, these are guys I already mentioned, but she did research at UCLA. So these are funded opportunities outside of your money here. So you'll actually get paid over the summer to do these research things, and it's usually pretty nice change. So usually stipends are between $3,000 to $5,000, so it's gonna pay you a little bit more than your normal part-time summer job. And it looks really good on your resume. You learn lots of things and you network. So we're gonna really push these at you. You're gonna hear a lot about them, and please take us up on these opportunities because they're really invaluable. So again, the ones on the screen here, it's kind of dependent on what's gonna happen this summer. More information will be coming as things kind of unfold. But if you have questions or one of these piques your interest, we're happy to talk about them.
And just in a similar vein, I'd like to also just kind of headline that your Earlham science faculty also do research. And so get to know your biology faculty that you have, get to know your chemistry faculty, and see if they're planning on doing research in the summer. Of course, it's depending on if Earlham stays open and labs are safe. But don't forget about the opportunities that you can do on campus as well. And that would be paid on-campus research, again, independent of your EPIC money. Okay, so great opportunity there as well.
And so just lastly, we threw up on here one more time how to contact us. There's our emails are on there as well as our offices. Peter is special. He has 2 offices, so you can find him. Sometimes he cuts himself in half. But if you want to schedule a meeting directly with him, best way to do that is just shoot him an email. And then my information's on there as well. And again, you can go through Handshake. If this really stresses you out because you're first year and you're a little bit nervous and you can't figure it out, just shoot me an email. We'll make sure that it happens. So I think at this point, we're gonna switch over to some open questions. I know we have some questions going on in the chat. So I'm gonna start throwing some answers in there, or we might just verbally get them, but please feel free to chime in if you wanna ask a question. You have Peter and I here right now, so I guarantee if you have a question, somebody else also has it too. So feel free to chime right in. Now's your time.
Great. Yeah, please add it to the chat. I see the first one out there, and I'll go ahead and take that one from Jen. And thanks for asking that, because it reminds me to offer some more information. She says, do you need certain base classes before you can apply to internships? And the answer is maybe. Some of those research lists actually want you to get to kind of a cell physiology level in the classes, and that's really a sophomore level class. But some of them actually are fine with going through cells, genes, and inheritance, that genetics course that I teach in the spring. Therefore, a first-year student who goes ahead and takes that could apply to those. Additionally, I thought is one of the things that Jesse and I can do is we're basically kind of a surrogate advising team for you. You have your academic advisor who will guide you in classes, but if you are any kind of pre-health, Jesse and I and Mike particularly are the three that you should come to and just kind of bolster that plan. So which courses should you take to stay on track for the different health careers? Because there's nuance to them. Pre-vet is different than pre-dent. Pre-dent is different than pre-med. Physical therapy is different than physician's assistant, and so forth and so on. So that's too much for your normal academic advisor to take on. And so come see us to supplement your course planning as well. So I went a little off tangent, but I think it's worth saying that we can help with your four-year plan for your pre-health trajectory as well.
And
But
Jen, we have like a whole file pulled that is specifically internships and research positions that are open specifically to first and second years. So there's going to be a ton out there that are going to be looking for certain requirements, but there's also a huge offering from a lot of schools, particularly if you're a minority student or a first gen student. There's just a ton of opportunities out there, and we've had really successful applicants. The majority of our students who have gone through and spent some time on their application have gotten a placement in the last 3 years. We're really proud of that. But we also have a whole team that, like I said, Kendra and Tyreek, the peer mentors, they've done numerous experiences. Angel had an experience this summer, so they know the process. So if you're interested, like, schedule a meeting to sit down with them, and it's never too early to start thinking about this stuff. It's really good to do it now because you can break it up so it's not too overwhelming. Any other questions? You can either throw it in the chat or feel free to just jump on in. So the collab, don't worry, this is like there it is. This is the trickiest part to identify where the collab is. So if you know where the CST is, which is where Peter is currently located right now. Yeah, it is a hidden gem. So Peter's in the CST. So that long hallway looking building, if you go in through those front doors, on the left-hand side, you're gonna see a room all of glass. That's the collab. So that is where you're gonna find a lot of the center directors. So the link that I'm throwing in here, Rose, the CGCE Earlham.edu channels Health Medicine, that is the UConnect page. So that should take you directly to the Health and Medicine, and that is also where you will have the link for the first year survey if you haven't filled that out yet. Good questions.
Yeah, please keep them coming. You have Jesse and my attention.
And just so you know, the collab, which houses our offices, is also known to give out like snacks and candy, but you have to like come see us. So like, wink, wink. You're always welcome to just stop by and say hi and introduce yourself. Normally, we would be all out there in your business in the classrooms. You would already probably know me by now. But so feel free to come in and just say hi and introduce yourself and get some snacks.
Guaranteed virus-free snacks. Can't get that anywhere.
Right. You must hand sanitize prior to putting your hand.
Plenty of that too. Being the Center for Global Health. Being the Center for Global Health. Yes. Other questions?
Good question. So both the slideshow and this video, we are actually recording it. We're going to throw this up on that UConnect page. So that link right there, you'll be able to see it. With that, you'll just scroll down the page and it'll be in the resources. You're welcome.
What would be great is we won't give any homework assignments other than finding us, being able to find us. But if you can share the word about UConnect and where the slideshow is and just about Jesse and myself and how to find us, we'd really appreciate that. because we know we're not capturing everyone in the first and second year class who's interested in pre-health. But what I always pride myself on is the Earlham community roots for itself when we support each other, and it's a team helping you get to where you want to get to. And so share the wealth and share the knowledge that you gain from this experience with your new friends.
And just to follow up there, the handshake instructions are on the presentation, so you'll have those, but you're also welcome to just come into the collab. We usually have one of the student workers who are those peer mentors, and they can walk you through it the first time too, if that's easier. It's pretty much staffed from 9 o'clock till 6 every day with a student. All right, any other questions? All right, well, you guys, hopefully you have our contact information by now, and we're not too frightening to come find us. So please feel free to reach out to us. We look forward to getting to meeting you throughout this semester. I always say come sooner. It's great to get to know you from the first day. It makes our lives a little bit easier. And I like putting faces to names. So thank you guys so much for coming and joining us. I know that this was like so much information. Trust me, it was hard to dwindle down the bare bones. So thank you for thank you for paying attention and tuning in. And we will get this information out to everyone. Oh, thanks guys. Oh, yay. Really looking forward to seeing you all.
Great. Take care, everyone. Be well. Study well in your classes. That's also important.
Yes.
Have a good night.
Bye, guys.
Have a good night.
Good night.
And we won't be strangers. Take care.